mga kaibigan, and welcome to another episode of In My Toolbox. This is your weekly talk show exclusively here only at PHLV. Tonight mga kaibigan, we will delve into the realms of finance and business, exploring pertinent topics aimed at providing insights and guidance. Of course mga kaibigan, it's crucial to emphasize that while we offer expertise here, we are not legal or tax advisors, okay? So, therefore, the information shared here should not substitute to any personal advice tailored to your specific circumstances. So, always seek the counsel of qualified professionals before making any significant decisions. Of course, mga kaibigan, again, my name is Enrico. I'm an economist, financial expert, business consultant, and of course, an entrepreneur. Stay connected with me through PHLV Radio, of course, Facebook page, or drop me an email at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. All right, guys, so let's dive into our topic tonight: three-legged stool for retirement. Yeah, all right. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, right? The three-legged stool. Well, this is actually an old term that financial planners they actually used to describe what were the three most common sources of retirement income. So I don't know if you've heard about that, okay? So again, it's the three most common resources or sources of retirement income. Of course, we have the Social Security, we have that employee pensions, and personal savings. So that makes it the three-legged stool. So it was, of course, expected that this trio would together provide a very solid financial foundation for retirement. But, guys, that might be applicable, a long time ago. Times have changed, and then because time has changed, and so is the three-legged stool. It actually has changed too. Okay, so a new leg for the stool, okay, especially for those you guys who are younger workers, right? Especially in the private sector. That pension leg, okay, has been replaced already. Instead of a pension, which is, what we call the defined benefit plan, we discussed that long time ago, right? Workers now actually have what you call a 401k, or we call it defined contribution plans. Okay, so originally, so this retirement savings plan, in the first place, they were never meant to serve as pensions. Okay, so they were supposedly to be a supplement or supplementary to savings account of people like you and me, right? And then which actually builds up the third leg of the stool. Nevertheless, ever since the 1990s, employers have been replacing the guaranteed corporate pension with these things you call tax advantage plans. Of course, when you hear tax advantage plans, you and me would say, oh yeah, I want that, right? Even without even knowing what it is really. Some companies, on the other hand, will match an employee's contribution, which is now very popular. You guys know that, of course, up to just a certain percentage. Well, is it true that every private sector does that? Well, no. Others don't do it, but others does, right? So, the average employer today, the match is about 4.6%, the average, right? The median employer match is about 4%. Okay, so let me just talk to you guys on this one. Let me just segue a little bit, right? Traditional pensions, these are officially known as defined benefit plan. Okay, that's the official term. It's actually a guarantee, right, where a given amount of monthly income in retirement and place that investment and the longevity risk to the plan provider. That's what a defined benefit plan is, right? Now, the other one, the one that we know today, which is, the likes of 401k, right? We call it the defined contribution plans. They place the investment, of course, the longevity risk on the individual employee. So it goes to you, asking them to choose, or asking you and me to choose their own investment retirements But the downside here is there's really no guaranteed benefits. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that, we came from the defined benefit plan to the defined contribution plan. Okay, now, as for the Social Security, the 2024 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, they actually warned us, right, that the Social Security Trust Fund, where all our monies are, right, would be able to, there's a possibility that there's going to be, facing some difficulties in the near future. The near future means 9 years from now, according to the current output of the Social Security Trust Fund. Okay, the old age and the survivors insurance, or OASI, the trust fund will be able to pay 100% of the total scheduled benefits until what? 2033. So 8 to 9 years from now. At the time, the fund's reserves will become depleted. Bye-bye. Right? And the continuing program income will be sufficient to pay 79% only of those scheduled benefits. So that's maybe very unclear at the moment, if this is really going to happen, or if somehow, they will be able to fix this before 2033. So for you guys, if you would want to know this, you can go online and review the Social Security and have a quick look about this story, right? So, and you will be able to see too how much benefits that you are going to receive at an early age, at 62, or maybe at a full retirement, so age 67 if you were born after 1960, and age 70, right? This is actually the age where there are no further incentives to delay benefits. So check it out on the Social Security website, right? Now, we talked about the Social Security. We talked about, now we're going to talk about personal savings. The personal savings, this is actually will lead to our third leg. Okay, so we got the first leg, the pension, and then the second leg is the Social Security. Now the third leg is going to be the personal savings, right? So that leaves us to, what's your savings rate, right? Especially here in the U.S., it has been an extremely low, especially for workers like you and me over the last 10 years or so. Recession, and then of course having a stagnant wage, it really had made it so tough to people like you and me to be able to put money aside. We've talked about that a long time. Hey, we have the budget. We have to put money aside, right? For your savings, for the future, etc. But it's really tough in reality what's happening right now. But nonetheless, with the rest of the stool looking right now not sturdy, it's becoming wobbly, right? So you and me, individuals, right, will need to start saving a larger portion of our income, and we be able to continue to utilize the one that we talked about a while ago, the tax advantage retirement plans, such as those IRAs or the individual retirement accounts. And so you might also would want to look at those what you call annuities to be able to build your retirement nest eggs. So that's going to be your direction at the moment. Okay, so that's going to be your personal savings. I want to make sure that you guys understand the three-legged stool composed of what? Number one is going to be your personal savings. Number two is your Social Security. And of course, number three is going to be pension, which is no longer there. Majority, right? It's no longer there. You might want to look at your other ways of saving. Okay, so now there's actually a question here. How much of your paycheck should you save for retirement? We answered this time long time ago, right? So there, although it varies really, some financial advisors out there would actually recommend, hey, try to earmark about 1/5 of your annual earnings, about 20%, right? And then the earlier that you start it, the better it would be for you, because you're going to be taking the advantage of what? The power of compounding on your investment returns. At the very least, mga kaibigan, advisors would actually recommend contributing, to enough to max out the employer's match. Say, for example, the employer's match is 5%, max the match. You put about 5% too, if, of course, your employer would actually offer one. Another question that will arise here is, what is the difference between the 401k and an IRA? Though both platforms are tax advantage retirement savings account, the main difference of the two actually is 401 is offered by an employer, So, and the individual retirement account, the IRA, okay, you can open an IRA yourself at a brokerage or any financial institution that offers it. So the other main difference now is how much you'll be able to contribute to each one. An IRA's contribution, the limitation is much lower than the 401k. So another question arises to mga kaibigan is, what are the contribution limits? Speaking about that, for 401ks and IRAs. With 401k, you can contribute to a maximum of $23,000. This is the tax year 2024, unless you're age 50 or older. In that case, you can contribute an additional how much? You guess it right, $7,500. You call it a catch-up contribution. With an IRA, on the other hand, you can contribute up to $7,000. That's on the tax year 2024, unless, again, you're age 50 or older. So in that case, you can contribute an additional what? You're right, $1,000 as a catch-up contribution. Mga kaibigan, just the bottom line about the three-legged stool for retirement. With pensions being replaced by this retirement savings account that we discussed a little bit a while ago, right? We're almost now down to two-legged stool. The reason why, guys, the trio, right? Imagine a three-legged stool. That stool definitely is sturdy. Now, if you remove one, it's going to be wobbly, right? So, especially nowadays, we're almost down to two-legged stool. Not something that you can actually rest on securely, that you tell yourself that you're so confident enough that when the retirement comes, you have a very sturdy retirement income, So, although there are several possible solutions that you'll be able to prop up, especially on the Social Security leg, the future of this program, though, is unknown. Now, there's another leg that's going to be making the whole chair really not sturdy or not be able to stand on its own. So in the meantime, mga kaibigan, it may help you to think of all of this tax advantage retirement plan as the stool's second leg and work on building up a third leg with other savings. So you could consider the tax advantage account to keep your second leg sturdy. Remember, we have the Social Security. Now we have the tax advantage plan. Now, you would want to go out there and look for another leg, like a savings, right? Which actually will give you an investment that makes the third leg sturdy. Let's look at like a real estate, let's just say, right? So, mga kaibigan, you might want to look at the power of the three-legged stool. Make sure that you have those three in place, sturdy enough. So at this point, however, many American retirement plans out there that's going to be so shaky, because of this old stool, right? That you'll be able to make sure that you realize it and make sure that you'll be able to make a sturdy retirement. Of course, a very strong retirement income for you when the time comes. Okay? So, mga kaibigan, I think learning a three-legged stool for retirement is going to make sure that you have a very easy retirement when the time comes. High interest rate nowadays are a boon for income investing. So for income focused investors, if you're this one, right, you're looking beyond these treasury bills and high yield savings. So a lot of this are actually offering a portfolio of a lot of cash money, right? Cash flowing assets. So you will want to go out there, guys, that you would look at this income investing that has high interest rate. That could be another leg for you, right? So mga kaibigan, I think your goal right now is to ask yourself, do I have a strong three-legged stool for my retirement income? Right? So I hope this topic gave you an insight and some realization to be able for you to start looking and building a strong three-legged stool for your income retirement. Again, mga kaibigan, my name is Enrico Pobre, right? It's another episode of In My Toolbox. Hanggang sa susunod na naman pong ating episode, I'm signing off!